Number 12. A father lovingly cradles his infant child in his arms when suddenly the child slips away and almost falls headfirst onto the floor. Zoom in closer and you'll see a pacifier fall from the child's mouth. The father instinctively goes to catch it with the same arm he's holding the child with and accidentally lets go. I really do think the child would have been dropped if not for the armchair to the right, which seems to have catched the baby at the very last second. Otherwise, the poor baby was probably going to have a terrible landing, but luckily not today. Number 11. A YouTuber named Blue Ice has an idea for a daring experiment that I have never seen before. He wants to know what happens if he pretends to drop a piece in public. Almost everyone immediately runs away except for one person, who feels threatened enough to stand their ground. At first, they simply look startled and even slightly amused at how anyone could ever be so foolish in their presence. But when Blue Ice reaches down and picks it up again, you'll see that he actually points it at the man for a second, and that's when he reacts. This looks to be purely self-defense, and I honestly can't say how he was in the wrong for doing whatever it takes to protect himself accordingly. The two eventually calm down and part ways. Number 9. A YouTuber named Tickler is busy working on his car in the garage when he drops something important and almost pays the ultimate price. It might not look like much at first, but watch again in slow motion and you'll see the falling bumper comes within inches of slamming down on his head. If he was leaning just a little bit farther down, or even looking a bit more to the right, he would have been directly in the path of the car when it dropped. Number 8. Here's a video that makes little sense and definitely raises more questions than answers. A YouTuber named Brad Red is driving down the road and sees some oncoming traffic. The other car is moving fine at first until it veers to the shoulder and then directly into his lane. The car corrects itself and moves out of the way just in time. But you'll never believe what happens next. Watch this part and translate what is said before and after this surprising change of events. A person drops out of the car directly in the path of Brad Red's speeding vehicle for no apparent reason at all. The mysterious stranger looks just as confused as everyone else to be outside. He quickly stands and does a half-embarrassed jaunt back to the car. I really have no idea why this happens, and neither does Brad Red. The person could have been making an escape, but that doesn't explain why they immediately return to their captor afterwards. I guess this could also be some kind of prank or something, but that seems like a surefire way to get run over. Either way, tell me what you make of this video, because this definitely needs a proper explanation. Number 7. A YouTuber named Ben F and his farm crew have one goal today: to drop an old abandoned silo using only a sledgehammer. After swinging the sledge all day, they are finally ready to demolish the structure with a final well-placed blow. Listen to this part and tell me what is being said here, because I think Ben might actually predict what almost happens next.
Oh, it could shoot him.
I think what he means is that a brick could pop out from the force of the collapse, but I'm not sure. Not only is this person lucky the silo didn't fall on them, they also somehow managed to not be skewered by flying debris as they run away. Ben and the others decide to not put themselves in any more risk and eventually tip over the silo by tying it to a tractor and pulling, a much safer alternative. Number 6. A YouTuber from Pakistan called ilme aalim has a video recording of something absolutely amazing if true. I guess this supposed invisibility cloak could just be computer effects against a green screen, but the transparency looks very real. Even when he accidentally drops the cloak, every frame still looks completely transparent. Watch this part and let me know how hard this shot in particular would be to fake. Number 5. A YouTuber named kellybrannon is scheduled to fly from Philadelphia to Amsterdam, but the flight is going down rapidly over Boston and no one knows why. To make matters worse, the passenger behind cannot get their oxygen mask to drop. They all work together and try to think of ways to pry the small overhead cabin open and get the mask out.
We need some help here.
Once they are taken care of, the YouTuber records a small black patch on the left wing of the plane that looks like it could be some sort of burn from an electronic failure. If an aviation expert could watch this part and confirm if this is what happened or not, I would really like to know. The situation becomes even more serious after the YouTuber sees a passenger 2 rows ahead put on an inflatable life vest. It looks like they might be going into the ocean. I really don't know what happens next because the video is less than 3 minutes long and cuts out abruptly. The fact that it was uploaded to YouTube at all makes me think that everyone was safe and survived, but maybe they uploaded from the plane shortly before it went down. Number 4. A YouTuber named Tyler Kauffman is excited to be left in charge of operating his stepdad's dump truck at a local warehouse. He is unloading supplies and steps out of the truck so he can watch the trailer and operate the controls at the same time. Little does he know he's moments away from having the worst work week of his entire life. I'm not an expert by any means, but I think he raises the trailer well past its maximum height. You can briefly see the very tip of the lifting mechanism before the trailer drops off the white pole and collapses. Luckily for Tyler, the truck tips to the opposite side, and he is able to run for cover before he is flattened then and there. Number 3. 3 siblings from a channel called The Maldonado Family are giving a video house tour when something happens on the other side of the house that gives them all a bad feeling.
What is that? What was that?
As you can see from this angle, all of them were in the living room at the time of the noise. The kitchen, which is where something dropped, is a good distance away, so it couldn't have been them. They cross over into the other room and find cups scattered everywhere without explanation.
Guys, literally, that just fell from that cup
this fell
to
too.
that cup.
Even more bizarre is how some of them were glass and still did not break. Anyone can tell you that dropping a glass from the kitchen counter should shatter it on impact, but all of the glasses have been gently relocated inside. I think I've seen enough videos at this point to tell that this is probably paranormal, especially based on their worried discussion afterwards. The dialogue seems very natural and none of them appear to be faking.
All the way
This
over-
was glass.
And this one was all the way over here, and then this one was all the way up here.
Oh my god, that was scary.
Number 2. A YouTuber named Pappa Meatball decides to drop his GoPro down a 300-foot well. Well, certainly an interesting idea. It doesn't seem very scary, but the visual of this GoPro dropping down the well is certainly surreal and creepy in a weird way. It really makes me wonder what eerie things he could find down other holes using his GoPro setup now. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying my narration. Are you curious about what I look like in real life? Then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT to find out. Do you like my narrations? If you answered yes, then tap the follow button and thank you for your support. To show my appreciation, a different follower gets shouted out every day on the Chills Instagram. Also, don't forget I upload a new video here on YouTube every Thursday and Saturday. Number 1. A YouTube channel called Jiggs Outdoors uses high-powered magnets tied to a string to fish for random metallic objects in the water. This time, his magnet attaches to the top of an old mason jar with a series of creepy surprises inside. The jar is filled with old putrid water and contains someone's picture with a full name written across tape, presumably the person in the photo.
There's a picture of someone, first name, I don't want to say it, but last name, Calhoun.
Notice how someone strategically places the tape over their eyes, a bad sign for sure, but that's not the only thing they did to this picture that has Jiggs concerned.
They got these pins through it into here.
A closer examination of the picture reveals that the forehead has been jabbed multiple times with a pin, probably out of mixture of spite and rage. Based on this evidence, I fully believe that this is a dark magic ritual of some sort meant to bring a curse on the person in this photo, but I don't know the steps, so fill me in on the details if you think you do. Hopefully nothing bad happened to the person in this jar, if it hasn't already, and I hope nothing happens to Jiggs Outdoors for breaking open the seal. Only time will tell, so be sure to check on his channel for updates, and to see if he is still doing okay. If you've ever wondered what type of videos creep me out the most, here they are. The possibility of any of these videos coming true is enough to personally keep me awake at night.